is to successfully deliver a message that gives a desired result. Now, real quickly, how many of you have gone into conversations where that was even in your thoughts? I want this to be the end result of my little 15-minute connection to this person. 10 minutes, sometimes 5 minutes. Sometimes a few seconds. I'm going to get 25 seconds with this person. What results do I want out of that? And if we don't think it through, we'll mutter through, and we'll spit, and we'll sputter, and well, you know, and hack, and you know, and it's a train wreck. It's a train wreck. So it's got to be an act of selflessness. It's just as much about listening as it is sharing, because we listen to understand, not just respond. Okay? And I think that's very important for you. I wrote in a book a number of years ago. I wrote this for my girls. This was back when they were little bitty girls. It's called The Seeds of Life. And when I turned 40 years old, actually, it's when I started writing, wrote for probably 15 years on this book, because it's not just what it is. It's just little proverbs. And all of it is mine. I didn't get it from another book. This is what I got from counseling. I'd be driving down the road, God dropped some thought in my mind, and my thoughts were, I want my kids to know that. And let me just tell you something. If you're going to write, if you want to keep your writing pure, apart from fluff, write it to your kids.
Okay.
Write it to your family. I'm writing something that I want my kids to know. That eliminates all of the fluff from it, and it gets right down to it. So I was writing down some things, and I wrote, and because the Lord said, I want you to write something for them, because I didn't have anything to leave them. And the Lord instructed me to write it. So I started writing. It's like a faucet turned on. And I wrote. I'd be driving down the road. I'd be in counseling. I'd say something in counseling that it was so cool that I thought, wow, hold on just a second. I need to write that down. I mean, I was surprised by it. But it was a principle that I wanted them to know. And so I wrote everything from ability to zeal. I covered everything. It doesn't tell them what to do, but it gives them an insight of wisdom to know this is what we believe as a family. This is what I believe as your dad. And so I have actually these books. Those of you that want, some of you already have them, but I've got some over at the church. Those of you that might want them. But I want to read you something that I wrote that has to do with debate. Okay, because I talked to them about how to debate, what it means, and it's an important thing. Sometimes we look at debate as just an argument, and that's not what it is at all. What we're doing is I'm presenting my beliefs, and we're comparing this to these beliefs that might be different. But here's what I wrote. Oh Lord, under debate, that said, he who only knows one side of the issue knows much less than he thinks. To truly hear the other side of the debate, you must find someone who believes with conviction that their side is correct. Only then can you have a genuine exchange of passion, thoughts, and will. When you talk to someone, don't dominate the conversation, or you're going to look like you're unsure and fearful to hear anything of an opposing view. Pause at due intervals and determine to hear what they're saying. And don't just hear, receive it, absorb it, and embody it in your reply. And so I wanted them to know that when you're talking to somebody, you don't want to just, because we do that. We just kind of hear it and we run off with our thing, and we don't want to hear any opposing view. We don't hear anything else. And they may be right. I mean, you're looking at a horse. You may be on one side of the horse, and they may be on the other side, and they may be a little different, but they're still the same horse. And so they may have an element of truth that you haven't even thought of yet. But if you're already closed-minded, you're going to miss something beautiful. But the art of conversation, the art of, I'm not going to get offended, but I'm going to just talk to you about this. I'm going to talk to you about that. It's a healthy thing. It makes me think. And that's something we're not used to doing when it comes to conversation, is thinking. It makes me pause. It makes me absorb. I mean, have you ever been in a conversation where you thought, well, you know, I think you're right. I think you're right. That takes maturity to say that. It does. Anyway, those are the things that I'm wanting to do. And so the communication is for a purpose. And that's kind of where I'm wanting to stick with you guys, to share ideas, to build something, to make something happen. And when you have a breakdown of communication, your progress is stalled. You're done. You're not going to go much further. You'll just dance around that same problem. In 15 years, you're still dancing around that same problem, but you've never moved forward because you've never learned what it is. So we communicate to resolve situations, but when we're not effective, those things cannot happen. The things that need to be resolved can't be resolved because we're in communication. We got offended. And what happens when you get offended? You put up a wall. We stop listening. I'm not listening to them. We run off. We divide from each other. And what happens to progress? It's done. It's absolutely done. So you've got to understand that this is important, because there's some people that have in their mind, this is what I want to say. And they're going to shut you down. I don't care what you have need of. They're going to shut you down, and they're going to force this down your throat until they're done. And so you need to know how to respond to that. You also need to know how to stop what you're doing and engage with them where they are. Okay, all right, let's back up. I wouldn't want, all right, tell me what you're thinking, okay? And allow them to say what they've got to say. Now, we've got one video here that I think is going to be good. If we can show this. Big Bang Theory. How many of you know that? All right. We have volume?
Yeah, we have it. Sorry.
You went past your timer.
We're so close.
There it is.
All right, ready? You got volume?
First there was PlayStation, aka PS1. Then there's PS2, PS3, and now PS4. And that makes sense. You'd think after Xbox, there'd be Xbox 2. But no. Next came Xbox 360. And now, after 360, comes Xbox One. Why one? Maybe that's how many seconds of thought they put into naming it.
Can you get the butter, please?
You know, however, with the Xbox One, I can control my entire entertainment system using voice commands. Up until now, I've had to use Leonard.
Then get the other one. Pass the butter.
Hang on. I don't feel like you're taking this dilemma seriously.
Fine, Sheldon. You have my undivided attention.
Okay, now, the PS4 is more angular and sleek looking.
No way!
It's true, but the larger size of the Xbox One may keep it from overheating.
You wouldn't want your gaming system to overheat?
No, see, well, you absolutely would not. And furthermore, the Xbox One now comes with a Kinect included.
Included?
Yes. Not sold separately. Although the PS4 uses cool new GDDR5 RAM, while the Xbox One is still using the conventional